All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Market Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Peter. How you doing today?
Carlos, I am fantastic. How are you doing this morning?
Doing great, my friend. Cannot complain. Doing very, very good this morning. All right, let's get to it. Let's see what we got going on. Before I jump in, Peter, I didn't check if we had any numbers, any data coming out today.
No, there will be later this morning, but nothing first thing. At 9:45, we do have the PMI, both the services and the manufacturing PMI numbers, and then new home sales at 10 o'clock. The home sales, probably the more anticipated of those at this point. Yesterday, we didn't see much reaction from the existing home sales, but we'll see how that goes. We did have a little bit earlier this morning the building permits number come out. It was like right on target. The forecast was 1.442 million, and it came out at 1.443 million. So that was like dead on pretty much. So, but yeah, I don't know that that's going to move the market. We'll see. I mean, if it's wildly off, of course, it can always do that. Globally, things are pretty quiet today. It's funny. It doesn't necessarily mean anything, does it? I mean, look what's happened this week. I mean, you don't know if we're going to be up or down based on what's happening pre-market. The futures set are generally up from equities point of view, down when it comes to oil prices and commodities. But it's not universal. So hey, I don't know. I mean, we'll just see what happens, right? It means there's a lot of trading opportunities.
Yeah, that's the one thing for sure. There will be some trading opportunities for us today, friends. As we saw yesterday, just incredible. This morning's gapper list, let's take a look at that. On the gap up side of things, we got a couple of names here, some that I'm not familiar with, especially towards the top. We'll see what's happening there. And then we got some other ones that don't trade so well, like HKD, Man U, tend to be pretty bad intraday trading tickers. And then towards the gap down list, we got a couple of really big names here. We got Footlocker, Peloton, we got Nike, we got Tesla, all down this morning. But Footlocker and Peloton, man, down huge numbers, 30%. Peloton, 27%, although I think they're like a $5 stock, $4 stock. So it's not a huge dollar-wise. But Footlocker, I think, is down like almost $15. So that's a big change there. Yeah.
We'll go over all of that. But yeah, big mixed picture on the retail sector. Continued earnings from retail. And yeah, it's all over the place. Started very positive when retail started reporting, but now it's getting muddy. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll go over that as we get onto the gappers list.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. All right, let's take a look at what's happening right now on our gappers list. Let's start with the first one, gapping up, VCIG. So if we look at the VCIG this morning, what do we have here? This doesn't look all that hot. Numbers looks good, 1.2 million. We're up 50%. Looking at the details under the hood a bit here, it looks a little bit crazy as far as pre-market action. Peter, what's driving this today? And the flow on this, by the way, is low flow, 2.1 million shares traded. I'm not shares traded, sorry, 2.1 million shares flow.
Well, we mentioned this yesterday. When companies announce a collaboration with one of the majors, they get a bump. So in this case, this is a consulting company out of Malaysia, and they announced a partnership with Microsoft on their open AI platform. So they got two big things in there, of course, AI, and they're partnering with Microsoft. So, and the fact that they're partnering with them on AI, of course, is why we're seeing them up, 50% with the big volume, 1.2 million. Don't know that it's going to be a great trader when the market opens, but we'll keep an eye on it. I mean, the volume's in it right now, and it's looking good.
Oh, sorry. I got distracted here with the comments in the chat. But yeah, looking good. I agreed. We'll have to see. It's a low flow stock. I'm not a big fan of, but it might be the risky one for today, man. It's the most active one I see. VCIG. We'll put that right on there. So that's good. All right. Next on the list, we're looking at ITOS Therapeutics, and this is up 37%, 320,000 shares traded. Again, another one just doing a big pump this morning. Peter, any great news on this? Volume is not so hot for the most part. Flow on this is a little bit over 20 million, 24.5 for the float here this morning.
This is a biotech, and whenever biotechs get the big bump, you can usually expect it to be related to a drug trial, which is the case here. So looks like they're partnering with another company on a drug trial for, I don't know, phase 3 of a skyscraper '01 study. So it's a lung cancer treatment, and had positive results, which is why it's up on lower volume. I mean, 300,000 shares is good, but not fantastic.
Yeah, it's really not, and the way it's been traded too, right? Because we've seen stocks with like 300,000 trade better. This pre-market action's a little bit all over the place, and it's not like they trade well. It's funny. 323,000 pre-market is the most they traded in the last month and a half. Looks like June was the last time they traded more than that. So, not heavy on volume by any means. Maybe today could be their day in the sun here, but I don't like it. I'm going to skip on it for now. If it hits our scanners, turbo breakup, turbo breakdown, we can definitely take advantage of it, see what's happening there. Next is APLS, Apellis Pharmaceuticals seems to be the name here. 26%, similar stuff here, gapping up 656,000 shares traded this morning on this one. So again, another one that doesn't fit my criteria overall. The spread, by the way, pretty bad at the moment. That can get better at the market open, but be on the lookout for that. These stocks that again don't trade heavy volume for the most part can be difficult to trade. Peter, anything exciting on this one?
I'm trying to figure out why this is up today. Uh, I'm not sure yet. They have an update on their injection kits. It doesn't seem like big enough news to cause it to jump like this, but I guess it could be big enough. I mean, what's the float on this? If it's a small enough float, right? You
All
don't
right.
need,
Yeah,
well,
it's
100.
83 I have here.
Yeah, I've got 100 million shares, 3.6 billion market cap. So that, I mean, that's big enough that this shouldn't be the jump. So I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but as you said, I'm not so too worried about it because it doesn't look great.
Yeah, it does not look great so far. So I'm gonna skip on that one. ANF, we've seen this before. This is a Crombie and Fitch, and today they're up 15%, 256,000 shares traded. So did they have earnings? I did not see them on
Yeah.
the calendar, but I'm assuming that's
Yep.
the only time we see them.
Yep, no, they definitely had earnings this morning. All good news across the board. So I said part of the mixed picture. They're one of the few that had good news this morning, unadulterated good news. So they beat their numbers, top and bottom line. Same store sales looking good. They raised their guidance for the full year, seeing strong demand. I mean, that's not what we've heard, especially at sporting goods. We'll talk about that later. Is apparently struggling, but if you just want to buy fashion, they seem to be doing okay. So ANF doing good this morning.
Yeah. Yeah, looking pretty good right now, guys. Nice big gap up. They're a tough trader. You really have to know how to trade this stock. We'll put it on a secondary. We'll come back to it. HKD. Let's see what's happening here. HKD. This is the madness that we saw a couple of weeks back, months back now, really. And again, I just want no parts of this, guys. Be very, very careful. I just don't know what to think of this. Last couple of days, they've been moving around a bit here. But this is really, really a garbage stock. Be very careful. Um, Peter, I doubt there's any news on this. I doubt you even looked this up.
I didn't even bother to
Yeah,
look it up, to be
yeah,
honest. So
yeah. Let's get the garbage, the trash can out. Brian is saying here. Yeah.
they have a share repurchase program. So that's why.
All right. Yeah, it's just nothing great. Let's move on. Another one that's not that good either. They also get the garbage can here is Man U. I mean, for me personally, they are not a great intraday trading ticker. They had news a while ago. Okay, that was fun. It moved around, got some volume right over here, and again, that was almost last year, end of last year. So we've since then we have not seen anything good out of this. I avoid it. I don't like trading it. I don't like the intraday action, Peter. Not sure how you feel about this one, but it's not good
Yeah.
for me.
I always thought it would be fun to trade. It's not often you get sports teams that are publicly traded. In fact, it's the only one I can think of. But yeah, you're right. It's never traded well. So it doesn't seem to matter what the news is. It doesn't trade well. I've got to imagine it's dual listed. It's got to be listed on the UK exchange. But yeah, it doesn't trade well.
Yeah. So there you have it. We'll skip on that one. Next on the list, we got one that skipped in here. RCUS skipped ahead here. What's going on? This is up 33%, just getting above 100,000, barely above that. So again, very light volume. A spread is I saw 20 cents now, 10 cents. So it's getting better, but not good by any means. I'm not sure about this one, man. It just doesn't seem great. Daily volume is very light. Anything under a million shares trade on the daily volume, it's concerning, right? You're just not going to get some good activity. But they're gapping up nicely today. It's bioscience ticker.
They, I don't know. There seem to be a lot of people involved in this. They seem to be associated with that same news on this phase 3 skyscraper study for lung cancer. I don't know how all these companies are working together exactly, but they seem to be referencing that. So same pump that's putting up ITOS.
Okay. All right, so there you have it. Same catalyst for those two. Looking at our list here. So we looked at HKD, we looked at Manu, NVAX. NVAX is up. What are we doing here? We're up slightly this morning. So we are up 2.3, very light volume on this one. Let's see how did they do yesterday. Did they actually trade well? I know they were in our gap up or down list. And looks like they
No.
had a nice little pop here from 850 all the way down to all the way up to 936 and 960. So a little bit of action there with some okay volume. A million shares per 5 minutes, not too bad. Um, but this morning up another 2.3. Can the fun continue here on NVAX is the key. So I'm not sure if you saw the price action, Peter, on this one. I took it off my list.
Yeah, I didn't actually watch it yesterday. I just assumed it wasn't going to move well, but maybe I missed an opportunity there. But you remember yesterday we were talking about the fact that their vaccine is effective against that Eris variant. So that was the good news that was pushing them yesterday. Just a little bit addition to the news this morning. That looks like hospitalizations in North America are up a little bit. Well, jumped anyways over the last month, and while that's not a good thing, it could mean that there's more demand for their vaccine if we're seeing a big jump in you know hospitalizations as a result. So that's the news.
All right, there you have it. All right, I don't like it, guys. So I'm going to stay away from that one. Let's see if we find something better. I hope we find something better than what we've seen so far. So nothing on our main list, at least for me, for the way I like to trade here. Here's PBR. This one is man, it's such a hit or miss. We had a one stretch a while ago where this thing was really hot. It traded well, but this is really based on just the overall sector, unless they have individual news. And there are other tickers that trade better. When that sector is moving in one direction, there are other tickers that trade much, much better, I believe. So
Yeah.
I don't see anything great on this one, man. Just not a whole lot of volume, not a whole lot of pre-market activity.
No, agreed. One that's gapping up that doesn't make our list because it's not up high enough is
Hmm.
Kohl's, KSS. They had earnings this morning, and they all sort of a mixed picture. They beat their numbers, but they beat lowered numbers. Like their profits overall, quarter or period over period, were down about 50%, so significantly lower than they had been in the past. But that's what they'd forecasted, so they beat that forecasted number. They've done it by keeping their inventory low, which means sales are low, but they're managing their costs and inventory levels appropriately. So, relatively good news, I suppose, out of Kohl's. I mean, they did what they said they're going to do. They don't, hey, look, companies don't always get rewarded for that these days, right? So, at least they're gapping up slightly. As I said, volume's pretty low. Probably going to move at the open, but it can be tough to trade. It is a NYSE stock, so keep that in mind. But might be you know, worth mentioning anyways. And if you like them, you can watch them.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So there's Coast there. I'll put in a secondary. We'll see how that goes. All right, let's look at some of the stuff that's gapping down. Leading the way this morning is Footlocker. Footlocker down 31%. I mean, these guys are just getting killed here. So, Peter, obviously earnings did not go well for them this morning. What's the latest and greatest?
Yeah, it's bad news all the way around. So they missed their revenue, they missed their earnings, they stopped their dividend, they
Mm,
cut their forward-looking guidance. Same store sales are down. I mean, everything is looking bad for Footlocker this morning. So that's why they're gapping down. That's why we see pretty high volume here. I think it's one to watch at the open. It may be that bad news is priced in. I mean, that's a pretty big drop, $7 on what was a $23 stock, so we're down sitting at 16. But how much lower can it go? I guess we'll find out when the bell rings. But that's the news.
yeah, this
And
thing
look at
is
that
getting.
daily. I mean, oh my God,
Yeah.
this is not the first time they've had a bad quarter. I remember having almost the same conversation 3 months ago on their
Yeah.
last quarter. And there you
Yeah.
go. There was the last gap, right? They dropped from 40 to 30. Now, which is again, and that was 25% or so. Now they're down another 30. Like it's the hits keep on coming here for Footlocker.
Yeah, yeah. You would think now going back into the school season, these guys would do better. Hopefully, have a better fourth quarter. But man, that's
It,
getting destroyed.
It's interesting that again, it's sporting goods specifically seem to be having a really tough time. Like we heard Dick's yesterday. Look at Footlocker on the list. We'll talk about Nike momentarily. I mean, it seems that I see that it's almost a sympathy move with Under Armour. You can see on our gap down list here too. Like, yeah, not a good time to be selling sporting goods, which normally has been a safe haven in North America, right? People are always buying sporting goods. Seems that's
Hmm.
not the case right now.
Yeah, yeah. They're really
They
not doing
spent all
well
their
at all.
money on Taylor Swift tickets, apparently, and
That's the
that's
problem. That's the problem. And Taylor Swift is helping the economy in one way, but destroying other businesses, right? So, yeah,
right.
there you go. Okay, let's go into the next one here. ADI this morning, down 5.4 right now, and 273,000 shares traded. Man, doesn't look good. This is Analog Devices. The ticker looks familiar, but the name does not ring a bell at all. Peter, I'm not sure what they do or how they trade, but doesn't look all that great with the information we're looking at now.
No, they I wasn't really following them, but it's another earnings play. This is a semiconductor, one of the smaller semiconductors companies that we don't typically follow. Pretty anyways, they basically had okay earnings, but their outlook was weak, so they basically lowered their forward-looking forecast, which is why they're down. Volumes pretty low this morning. I wouldn't watch it. I would watch to see if there's a knock-on effect on some of the big ones, just because again, bad earnings is usually bad across the industry, but it may be specific to them. Let's face it, they're called analog devices. I mean, aren't they? Isn't that like old? They're in the past. Who's using analog devices anymore? Isn't everything digital? I mean, heck, we're talking about quantum computing and I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah, yeah, 100% agree. So there you have it, guys.
hey,
Not a great trader. I'm not gonna add it to my list. I think I'll skip on that one.
Zen
Um,
Traders. Were you watching Zen Traders? What is he talking about here? Oh, Jim. Anyways, he just said flip some tires. That caught my attention. I was flipping tires this morning. They were doing, but
there you
but I
go.
didn't read the rest of the comment about whipping some thick ropes in the nude. He went in a place I wasn't doing that. Just to be clear.
Okay, let me sure, Peter, you're okay. Uh, okay, all right. Let's take a look at the next one. Here is Nike, and Nike usually does this when Foot Locker or any other major sporting goods is down. They're down 3.7, 239,000 shares traded, Peter. So is this something going on? Obviously, Foot Locker, being down, is that
Yeah,
affecting them?
yeah, I think so. The only news specific to Nike, they're losing one of their executives to a company called Reckitt Benckiser, Benkser. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, some other Reckitt, um, who's going over as the CFO of that other company. But I think it's more just specifically Nike is still, they'd called off their forecast previously. They haven't done anything new other than Nike tends to move when Foot Locker has a bad quarter. They're one of the largest resellers of
Yeah.
Nike shoes in North America. So when they're having a bad time, usually there's an anticipation that Nike is also going to struggle. So they're dropping more or less in sympathy.
Yeah, yeah, That makes perfect sense. So I'll add Nike on here too. Where's Footlocker? I thought we added Footlocker. Well, we are going to add Footlocker. We are going to add Nike as well. I might move Nike down to a secondary. Footlocker's where the action is going to be at today. And Footlocker is one of these stocks, man, where it can be so choppy. But I think today we might get a really good day out of Footlocker. So definitely going to see what's going on there. And the last one that is not a foreign to us at all is going to be Tesla. And man, look at Tesla. Gap up yesterday all the way to 240. And I'm not sure if I think it went higher even in the pre-market. Hold on. Let's go back. Yeah, it did go even higher, right? So in the pre-market by slightly there. Sold off the entire day, and now today we are gapping down 2.2 with 2.8 million shares traded. And what a great sell-off it was yesterday on Tesla. A lot of us in the room, by the way, we took a short on Nvidia, and we all got in around the same time. Beautiful 5-minute open range breakdown right on here. So that was great. Actually, Thor called this out all the way up here yesterday in the chat. But again, it's just that was too early for me. But here was a good entry. So looking at Tesla will be interesting. I think that will be fun to watch. I think looking at Nvidia, since we're just talking about it, I think that'll be good to watch. As far as Tesla, Peter, is there anything driving this drop down? Is this overall market stuff? Seems
No,
rather
no,
aggressive.
there's specific news. So, look, look, we'll talk some good news first. They've been courted heavily by Malaysia. Malaysia is actually willing to waive some of their typical rules to attract Tesla to the country, which looks like it may be successful. And Tesla will open up shop, and it brings a new market to them. However, one of their existing markets, Germany, has announced that they are lowering their production targets on their plant. So that's not good news. I think lowered targets is showing weakening demand in Europe, and that's not good for Tesla. So that's why they are moving down with volume this morning.
All right, sounds good. I like Tesla. Gonna add them to the list. Another one that was on here, but then it disappeared. It was Peloton, right? Peloton. They had also had earnings, and I'm sure you would have brought them up, Peter, because I know you have them on your earnings list today.
Yep.
Down
I was
30%.
going to mention them if you
Yeah,
didn't, and how the mighty have fallen. They didn't
I
make our
know.
list because their ATR is so low. They only move about 50 cents a day on average. Today it looks like it's going to be a day above that. But look at them, down 30%, 29% right now.
Ouch.
And you know what? It's only a $2 move. Again, this is a $5 stock right now. I mean, remember
Right,
when
right.
Peloton was like the bomb,
I know.
back when it was everybody was working out from home, and Peloton could do no wrong, and they were up at $160 or 150, $160, and yeah, look at them now. So,
It's crazy.
anyways, the last quarter was not good to them. They on the earnings front, they actually beat on revenue, missed on earnings. The problem is that their subscription base is lower than anticipated, and they lowered their forward-looking guidance. So, remember, Carlos, when was it? It was like last year sometime. They were talking about they were going to revamp the brand, and they were going to become a
Yeah.
lifestyle brand, and they had a whole line of clothing coming out, and I don't know what happened to that,
Mm.
but apparently it is not doing much for their their sales.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Blame all the streaming services, man. They're the ones taking everybody's monthly fees, and people are just not working out. They're
well,
canceling their Peloton service here.
and they have a
Unbelievable.
weird story too. Like I can't remember where on the chart where it happened, but remember when they had the Sex and the City movie came out, and
Yeah,
that
yeah.
and Billions, both of them had people that
Yes.
basically had heart attacks on a
On the
Peloton. Now
bike,
it's
right.
TV; it wasn't real, but there was like both of those TV shows that sort of had the same theme going, which didn't do much for their image, right? And I think that was sort of ironic, if you will, that the art, I don't know, creating some real life effect there. But anyways,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
uh it's
That's
it's
not
been
good
all
publicity.
downhill for Peloton for quite a while now.
It's insane. They got such a great product. My brother has one of these and he loves it. And I know a couple of friends that have it and they love it. That
Yeah.
they weren't able to capitalize on this, this move they had, right? It's just horrible.
Yeah,
So
actually,
it's
and someone's
just,
bringing up another one. That you remember that ad they had, well-meaning ad. Husband gets his wife a Peloton, and anyways, it didn't quite go off the way they anticipated, and everybody was like, saying what a terrible, gift that was, and what is he trying to say, that she's fat, and anyways, and she ended up, Ryan Reynolds jumped on that very quickly and hired her to do a aviation gin commercial where she was with her girlfriends in a bar, and they were, there you go,
Mm-hmm.
Master Chief's got the picture there, and she was like busy having a drink, commiserating with her girlfriends. I mean, it was just one of those situations where you're like, yeah, that marketing campaign didn't go well. Carlos, you like to say, somebody got fired. I
Somebody in the
mean,
marketing team had to get
yeah,
fired. Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
Oh man, this is yeah. They could have went so many different ways. Nevertheless, this morning they're going in one direction only, and that's down, down 29%, 4.2 million shares traded. It's in play, man. I'm gonna have it on my list today. I normally don't like stocks at this price range, but I think this one will be fun to watch and hopefully catch an opportunity. As far as inventory for shorts, we got plenty, 10 million shares available for short. We're Interactive Broker, so if we get an opportunity to short this thing, we have the potential to do so. Peter, are there any other ones on your list that might not be on our gap up and down as far as earnings?
No, we actually covered them all.
Okay.
Yeah, we got them all up there already.
All right, perfect. Let's go ahead and start taking it to the room here and see what we got going on. Let's look at what you guys like this morning. Footlocker on deck for sure. AMC. Did you guys see AMC yesterday got halted to the downside? Someone mentioned this in either in YouTube chat or in our chat. Can't remember. But man, this is I guess going to zero now, right? And then is the other one gonna go up? What's the other ticker? Ape.
Ape.
Is this it's not going the same way. Man.
I'm just avoiding these. They're
Yeah.
we look them up like this occasionally for amusement purposes only. But I mean, look at Ape. I just don't understand who's trading this.
Hmm.
13 million shares traded at, what time are we here? At before 9 o'clock. Like, who's trading all these shares? I don't get it.
Doesn't make sense to
Anyways,
me. Doesn't make
somebody
sense.
is.
Yeah, it's I don't get it. But staying away from these two are complete garbage, guys. I mean, as much as we would love to see them pop and do
Andrew.
something here. Andrew is not.
You know
You
what,
know what?
Matto? I'd almost believe you, except I know Andrew is not up this early, so that ain't
That is one point for sure. And he
Andrew.
stopped trading these lower price, low flow stock. He doesn't touch them anymore as much as he used to. Remember that he used to try
Yeah.
and get some moves. Now he's learned that he's really good at what he's good at, and then he just sticks to that. So,
Yep.
um, yeah, these are garbage. Not gonna spend any time on that. They look horrible. Let's see what else we have going on, guys. We are looking at AMC. Okay, IonQ. IonQ, I am not a good trader of this ticker. So even when it is in play, it's one that I avoid because I just don't trade it well. So this morning they're not doing a whole lot, pretty much flat right now. They got some volume, but again, I can't give you a good analysis on that because I am horrible at that stock. APLS, this is gapping up 25%, 800,000 shares traded. So you got some volume here this morning. Not sure what's causing the gap up. But again, when we looked at this earlier, I'm just not a fan of the daily here and how the stock trades as far as price action. So
Yeah.
maybe a possible, if you like it, you could put it on your list. But I'm just not a big fan of the way this thing trades. And the spread right now, 15 cents. Oh no, it's just tighter, about 10 cents or so. So be on the lookout for that spread. Make sure that stays tight, especially at the market open if you're going to be watching that one. So my reasons
I
for not
see
watching that one today.
you
Yeah.
put Nvidia on the list. Nvidia and AMD, of course, are worth watching because
Hmm.
they look at both of them, over 1 million shares traded so far this morning, and 1.2 million on AMD, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So I mean, this sector is continuing to get attention, and it seems to be specifically AMD and Nvidia. We know Nvidia. I mean, it's the big day, right? Like, we've been waiting for this earnings tonight
Hmm.
on
Yes.
Nvidia. So expect some, I don't know. I don't know what to expect on the price action, but expect something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's going to
Yesterday.
move.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say it's going to move because, like, look at the last 2 days. We had the big move up on
Yes.
Monday. Yesterday, we had what looked like was going to be a big gap up day, and then it just sold
Yes.
off. And then sort of for the afternoon, bounced around and didn't do much. So people are positioning here for this earnings. Remember, massive expectations on the earnings, right? They're using NVIDIA sort of as the litmus test for how AI is actually generating revenue and proving its validity within the marketplace. So I think it's, again, overblown expectations on NVIDIA, especially at this early juncture. AI is still ramping up. I mean, it's real, and it's going to sort of change a lot of things, but it's not going to happen right away. So I don't know. Like I would be very nervous if I was a major shareholder in NVIDIA, and if I was the executives trying to present the story, because it's almost like, I mean, anything other than they're blowing the doors off, I think is going to be met with probably a drop in the price and some concern. So,
Yeah,
and I don't
yeah,
know that it's realistic to say that they're going to blow the doors off. We have not seen that type of report out of any of the other semis. It hasn't been bad, but it's I think it's going to be tough. I was reading an
yeah,
article this morning, or maybe it was Andrew in his newsletter, was mentioning that, I see that Joe is saying price to perfection. It's pretty much where they're at. At the peak of the internet bubble back, we're talking 20 years ago now, Microsoft was at a 66 PE valuation, right? And Nvidia is sitting at about 65 right now. So this is like the whole internet craze, right? The internet boom and bubble, and they're up that high. Now we're sort of used to Tesla being weird at this level. We're not used to Nvidia being up here. So it could sustain this type of level for quite a long time. What did we that? Forward looking P is only 39, so I overstated that. But Tesla's at 66 right now. So, but it's so high that I don't know. Like it's we just got to keep an eye on it and watch it go over the course of the day. I'm going to try and trade it. I tell you, I'm just going to wait and see what's going to happen, and maybe
yeah.
take advantage of some of the moves. I'm going to watch earnings tonight, but I don't know that I could jump in. Like it's, I don't know. It just feels like anything can happen. Wild West, man.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be fun, man. I think it's going to be gives us some good opportunities. And again, just as you mentioned, look at the last 2 days. And if you look at the details here on the 5 minute, we went from 445 all the way to about 470 on this is just one day here. This would have
Yeah.
been where Wednesdays would have been Monday. Then the following day we go up to 42, and then we drop down to 457. So from 42 to 457, you are getting some just crazy moves. These are like Tesla type moves, man. When Tesla is going wild, I agree. So we'll see what happens today. It's gonna be fun. Already 1 million shares traded. We are pretty much flat right now at the market open. We'll see which direction this heads. And earnings gonna be. Someone asked what time it is. It's gonna be after hours. I don't have a set time. But they report very promptly after the market close, unless there's any issues. So they're very good at that. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. All right, that is our
There
list.
better
Yeah,
not be any issues, Carlos. If they delay announcing their earnings, people will lose their
people
collective
lose
minds out there.
their
So
mind, man. Yeah, we don't need a tech company having issues releasing earnings. There should be
yeah,
no problems. Just get it done.
I mean, not when
But yeah.
everybody's watching. So
Yes,
yeah,
this is the big guy. This is the biggest earnings drop I think all week. There's nothing bigger than this. I'm looking at the calendar, which you can also get access, guys, right at tradingterminal.com. So head on over here. This is the biggest thing we got going on. It's Nvidia today. I don't see any other bigger
yeah.
name than this one. So
No, 4:20 is the stated time. So expect. I think once the closing bell rings, we're going to see a bunch of movement as people position and assume they
yes,
know what's
yes.
going to happen. I think it's just going to be crazy, to be
There,
honest.
there-
But
there'll be some gambling
again,
happening before earnings.
yeah,
You're suspecting, Peter?
yeah. I'm just going to sit and watch. Like, yes, there's going to be people gambling all over the place, and people are going to make and lose a ton of money very
Yes,
fast.
yes.
And I'll get some popcorn and we'll watch it. But I just can't play with that. How do you manage your risk? I'm sure you're gonna get single minute candles that are going to be $20. Like I don't think that's even a stretch. So
A hundred
we'll
percent correct.
I mean, if it's $50, I wouldn't be too surprised. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's gonna be wacky. Right now, the expected move, by the way, if we take a look at it, expected move for this is sitting around yeah, $40 in either direction. So that's an $80 spread that this thing, 40 up or 40 down. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. All right, friends, there we have. That's our list for right now. Footlocker, Nike, Tesla, Nvidia, and Peloton. Couple of earnings play here. Sympathy play on Nike with Footlocker. So a lot going on this morning on that front. And I think we're set. I got AMD as a secondary here. I think that's gonna be a good one as well. If I don't find anything else, I'll move this up. But I kind of have AMD and Nvidia both on the same wavelength here at least, right? So if Nvidia is not doing too well, AMD I expect will do something. So there we have it. Let's get to community events and announcements. We'll come back and do some levels here, and we'll look at anything else that might be popping up this morning. But I think we got a pretty good list so far.
Oh my God.
What's going on, Peter?
I'm
Share.
AMC. I'm just looking at what's moving most, and I mean, 20. They're almost at 22 million shares this morning.
Oh,
Who's
AMC.
trading these 22
Ah,
million shares? Again,
it's
it's
just
so
wild, man.
it's just so
It,
weird, man. Like,
who? Yeah, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But yeah, this is highway to hell right now. I mean, we are going zero.
yeah,
Is there any rumors of them going bankrupt, or what's going on with them? Is there anything?
no, yeah, I don't think so. I mean, their stock price may be dropping, but as far as I know, the business is still doing okay. Maybe not fantastic, but yeah, they're definitely going to need some fall blockbusters, I think, to
I need
get
some
some butts in the seats.
more Barbie
Um,
type numbers to continue
Yeah,
this.
Barbie numbers exactly. Hey, my wife and daughters went to see Barbie last night and said it was pretty good. I mean, they haven't gone to a movie like that in quite a while, so it's
Yeah,
getting people out. But yeah, they're going to need another one. And like we can't forget, we got a writer's strike, we got actors strike. I think those are still going on, aren't they? Anyway, so yeah,
yeah.
there's not going to
I
be.
think it's going on. I just don't know if it's affecting like the big guys, the big writers and all that. So I don't know. And I know Netflix was saying this. A lot of those guys are overseas, right? They're not even in the U.S. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Um, all right,
All right.
let's get a community events and announcements. We'll come back and fine tune this list.
All right, P Capital Trading is starting its next boot camp in September, like we've mentioned. Sold out on that one with the waiting list. So if you want in, you'd have to consider the January boot camp. As we said, you can advance book. You do need to sort of pay for it, but we will refund it if you change your mind. But if you want in, feel free to reserve your spot. But no pressure. I mean, you can wait and look at doing that later. We have sold out every camp so far, and hopefully they've benefited everybody that's attended. So this one is going to be a little different than the others in that we've added a live trading account component where you're going to be able to profit share on that trading account. Now, always recommend do not ever join a camp to try and make money like that. For us, especially at P Capital, it's all about the education. So if you want the education and it's worth the investment, then do it. The live trading account is just a bonus. We have learned through experience that when people join just for the account, it doesn't tend to go well. So focus on the education. Take advantage of the account if it just happens to work out. All right. Okay, so it's Wednesday today. Wednesday's Psychology Day at Bearable Traders, and we always look at different ways we can help you with your mental preparedness for the markets, because trading is 80% mental. We focus a lot on the technicals. We talk different strategies. That's all important. Everything we do here helps position you for the morning, but really it's all about what's happening between your ears, right? That mental place is where you need to spend most of your time, making sure that you're solid and that you can handle the wild swings that happen in trading. Tonight, Randy Howell is going to help you with that, and he's going to talk about the things that might be holding you back in your trading and what you can do to manage those and improve upon them. That's at 8 o'clock in the webinar room. If you're an elite member, you have access to that. Hopefully you will join us at 8 to hear what Randy has to say. Next week, Mike will be talking about how to embrace missed opportunities. We talk about FOMO and ROMO, the fear of missing out, and regret of missing out. Those can affect you and affect your trading. Don't think they don't. So Mike will address that head on August the 30th. Oh God, like next week is already the end of August, which means my trip to Europe is coming up soon, and September is coming up soon.
Nice.
But
nice.
anyways, hopefully you'll attend one or both of those webinars. If you can't, don't worry. For our elite members, they're always recorded and posted into the Education Center. All right. With that, Wednesday also means that we have options activity happening in the main chat room at noon. Megan and Jared will be with us talking options. So stay tuned right in the main room and you can hear them then. Carlos, let's set some levels on some of this crazy stuff. I was looking at NVIDIA and AMD while we were running the P Capital ad, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I can't find these shares. We've got over 1 million shares on both of them. 1.1 on NVIDIA right now, 1.3 almost on AMD.
Yeah.
There must be some bulk sales. There are big people positioning because it's not showing in the minute by minute volume, I have to admit. So when I started to dig in deeper, it's not looking as great as I expected, but I still expect them to move. Like I'll still be watching them. Don't get me wrong, but I don't see the million plus shares sitting in the pre-market.
I don't see any of them, and we see this once in a while on some of these tickers. I can't explain why that happens, but it's just interesting. So the strikes is effectively absolutely affecting production. Yeah, I think so. Okay, that makes sense. I just when I look at the strike, we're talking about AMC and AMC and obviously Ape. I just don't think like the writers for the blockbuster, like Barbie or Mission Impossible. If Tom Cruise comes up to you, hey, I need you to write this, are you going to say no? I just don't see that happening at that level. Now, I do believe it's going to affect the smaller screens. I agree, but that's not what's bringing people to the theaters, man. Unless you have a big movie, people are not going. I mean, you've been there, you know what it's like. Unless you're Oppenheimer, unless you're Barbie, that's not pulling you out of your seat to go into a theater. It's just not happening, right?
You know what they need to do? They need to sign a licensing contract with the Taylor Swift tour and then live simulcast it into the theaters. There you go. You heard it here first, AMC executives. If you're listening, I want a royalty, but you better be working on that deal because that you will make $1 trillion doing that.
Please contact the number on the screen. I will be Peter's agent to foresee this deal. But yeah, man, we could be absolutely wrong. We know nothing about movie theaters, but I just don't see Tom Cruise calling you up and saying, you know what, Tom, I'm on strike right now. I'm not gonna write this for you. Yeah, I don't see that happening. All right, let's get to some levels, my friends. Let's look at Footlocker here. So Footlocker right now, we are down huge, 32%. And then if we do drop here, 15.55 is the low of the pre-market. The high is already marked down by the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. And we are looking at the previous day close up there as well. So we're down quite a bit. I think this is going to be in place. It's usually a very choppy stock, even on earnings. But today, man, they're just really having a hard time. So I think we'll get something out of this. I expect the first couple of minutes you could see some chomp and then it'll ease in. This can also be, guys, I mean, this is such a big drop. We can see an overreaction here. So if there's some strength in the market, don't be surprised if you start getting a little bounce back here. Anything's possible. We'll pay attention. 1722 is another area in the pre-market where we got a couple of candles here slamming into that. So I do want to have that down there. Let's take a look to the left. We haven't been here is this all-time low? No, it can't be. I'm sure Footlocker has been down here in the past, maybe. Oh, very close. Back in 2020. Man, I think this is all-time low on Footlocker. Oh, we're going way back, 2009. So yes, this is 52-week low for sure. But man, we haven't been here in a while. All right, so let's see here. Let's look at some levels just in case. This is a 20 2010 level that we're going to have here, 1502. Let's see how that plays out today. 1450 is another level on the daily as well, going back to 2010 in September. Let's see how that plays into our morning action today. So, all right, we're all set there. Let's head over to, yeah, let's head over here. I think we're all set as far as levels. We're so far away from the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, and we haven't been here in such a long time. I'm going to leave that blank for now. I am going to use this pre-market levels here, 1874, in case we do get a bounce, but that is Footlocker for you. Tons of volume, 4.1 million shares traded right now. Here's Nike. So Nike in conjunction with Footlocker losing some ground. We're making a new pre-market low. Now I am going to mark down 97.59 because we do have a lot of support happening there. So let's note that down for now, and we're going to continue to lose some ground here on Nike. Looks like we'll come back to see how that ends up. But heading to the left, we don't have to go too far back as we did on the Footlocker there. Just to the beginning of the year, we were hanging out right in this area. So let's just zoom in a little more here on our daily. We do have a level 99.64, might be actually a little bit lower there. You see a couple of days using that as support, as resistance. So you definitely want to have that down. And you can see in the pre-market also, we had a little bit of hesitation right around that 99.51. Towards the bottom, we do have another 98.19. So that's another level on the daily as well. A couple of days using that support and resistance. Pre-market and a little bit of stuff, not a whole lot, but 98.19 worth having down as we get into our market open this morning. As we continue to lose the pre-market low right now, we're heading down to 97.33. Towards the bottom, we have a very, very nice level, which is going to be 96.28. So slam a level there. And then towards the bottom, another level here at 94.52. I think you're all set. I mean, just in case, I doubted this thing will get to 92.76. But, 92.76, another area where you have a lot of resistance, has some good support, a very, very major level. If we are going to head down there, that could be a nice support area. So right now, looking very weak, down 4.1. Not a whole lot of volume, but definitely got some momentum going towards the downside here. Here is Tesla, guys. 3 million shares traded on Tesla right now on the daily. Let's zoom in here. We are pretty much set. I think just mark down the high of the pre-market and the low of the pre-market. The last 2 trading days and the previous day close really got you covered. I mean, just look at all the levels you have in here. I don't think you need anything else. And we're like smack in the middle of this range. The high from yesterday and the low from 2 days ago, we're right in the middle of that. So we got tons of levels surrounding the price action right now. You're pretty set on Tesla. So very interesting action the last couple of days. Some really good trading too, because you're getting continuation on Tesla. So that is good. When you get continuation on Tesla, you can find some really good opportunities. Here is NVIDIA. If you remove the last levels, you do have highs and lows for the last 2 trading days. Just add 464 high of the pre-market and same thing. You're all set, guys. Highs and lows doing a perfect job for you. Previous day close. Do not make this complicated. Keep it nice and simple. Now here's Peloton. Let's hope Peloton trades well today. Low of the pre-market 476. You do have a level here at 490 as well. You definitely want to mark that down. Don't have to go really back here on Peloton. Let's see. Let's go to the weekly on Peloton. There we go. Weekly. Oh, all-time low. So I don't gotta go anywhere. This is all-time low on Peloton. So again, just they're not having a great day.
No.
They're not having a great year. So pretty bad on Peloton there, guys. That's all you have as far as the low of the pre-market. The rest is highs and lows for the last 2 trading days at 7. So that's my least favorite of this list. I might move this down to Apostle, but it'll be good for entertainment purposes just to see what it does. But again, I think it's not going to trade all that hot. We'll see. All right. With that said, guys, hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. Let's bring over our moderators list. Let's see what people are watching here this morning. And then we'll hand it off to Brian and Andrew, who are going to be trading live at the market open. So if we bring this over here, let's see what we have. Our first one on deck is going to be Thor. God. AMD. Go ahead, Peter.
I was just looking at Footlocker. I'm scanning back and back, trying to find when the last time they've been this low. You might have done this already.
Yeah, 2010. 2010, man. We got to go back. You do a weekly, it might be easier.
I got there, but yeah, that's
so wow.
All right. So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, should be fun. Here is Thor looking at AMD, NVIDIA, Tesla, SPY, overall Qs and futures. Eamon looking at Disney. Jared, it's just an announcement there as regards to audio. Peter, no SPACs, no IPOs for today, but your list will be AMD, NVIDIA, Tesla. Secondary list, Footlocker, Peloton, and Co's. Brian will be looking at NVIDIA, Tesla, ANF, Nike, and ITOS. Andrew will be looking at Tesla, Nvidia, Nike, Footlocker, and Peloton, Megan, Tesla, and the Qs this morning. So there you have it, friends. That is our moderators list this morning. We are all set for today. I think it's going to be an interesting day, especially with Nvidia. It's one of my favorites, and then we'll see what else pops up here that'll be good for today's action. Peter, anything that we might have missed?
I think we got it covered. We got enough interesting stuff to look at, some risky stuff. So just be careful out there, everybody. And we will see you. Well, we'll see you again tomorrow with the aftermath of NVIDIA. Good luck. Trade smart.
We sure will. Last but not least, Mike watching NVIDIA on his list this morning, and KO, he sold half yesterday. Excellent, guys. Trade safe. We'll see you next time. Have a great trading day.